Hello and welcome back to another YouTube video. It's flies, sorry. And I did manage to get a vintage lens for my Canon M50. Absolutely loving it at the moment. It's a Sigma Mini Wide 28mm f-stop 2.8, and I got a $20 adapter for the Pentax K mount to Canon M50, so EFM, and I'm absolutely loving it at the moment. Really am loving the look of the lens. And the issue I've had is I'm not sure if I'm in focus. I can barely see from this distance. I'm about probably a meter away from the camera, so I can't see with the little LCD screen on the Canon M50 if I'm in focus or not. Painting the front of my studio today, and this is the new color versus the old color. What do you guys think? That's the new color, and that's the old color. Anyway, I better get back to painting, so I'll see you in the studio. Alright, so we're in the studio, and I just thought I'd tell you a little bit about this lens and why I like it. So I've taken a few photographs. I haven't really used it that much just yet, but I'm absolutely loving the look of this lens at the moment. I'm shooting on about 5.6, I think it was. It's got manual aperture, manual focus, so that's my only, the manual focus is my only concern, as I said outside just before, but other than that, I really like the look of the lens. At the moment it's looking a bit dark. I might have to pop the brightness up in post-production. So I'm really liking this lens. Really would highly recommend getting a vintage lens if you have been thinking about it. With the Canon M50, it's quite nice. The colors are nice, I think. But at the moment, yeah, I mean, this is a 5.6. Actually, I'll open the aperture just so you know what it sort of looks like. So, if I just... Right. Yeah. Okay, so now I'm shooting at the 2.8. The adapter's really cheap, usually for vintage lenses. So, I mean, as I said, I got this Pentax mount for $20. I'll show you what that looks like in a second when I switch over to my 22mm EFM lens. I'm going to switch over now. Alright, we are back on the 22mm EFM lens f-stop 2, and this is at its widest aperture of 2. As you can see, it's a little bit more blurry, and I think I'm probably a little bit more sharper, as in the image is a little bit sharper, as you could probably expect out of a digital lens of today's age. I'm not sure how long ago this Sigma lens came out. I'm not sure about that. Mine came with a little hood thing that kind of flops out, so that's pretty cool. Okay, so the lens looks like this. The autofocus is so good. This is a really good photography lens, and also video lens only if you're behind the camera, I think. And that's just something to keep in mind for all vintage lenses, I think, also. So I've got my adapter, which is a Fotka. I hope I'm saying that right. Okay, Fotka PK to EOS M. I think that's what it said. Yeah. So Fotka PK to EOS M. If you just search Amazon for that, it will come up. And of course, the lens is a K mount, Pentax K mount, and it's pretty solid. Like compared to my 22mm, it's a lot heavier, I must say. This is heavier than my camera though. It does add a lot of bulk. And it's quite long with the adapter, as you can see, which kind of takes a little bit of the compactness away from the Canon M50. But look, I think it's a really nice lens to have, and would highly recommend getting vintage lenses, again, if you have been thinking about it. Alright, so I'll show you a few images that I've just taken. And also a few videos. These are just random, by the way. Alright, so how do you think this lens looks? I'm still shooting on the EFM 22mm, by the way. But how do you think the vintage lens looked? Was I in focus? I will see it in post-production, but hopefully I was in focus. It's always just a little bit of guesswork because the 28mm I think becomes a 1.7 times because of the cropped sensor, so it's like a, I did the math before but I can't, like nearly 50 mil I want to say. Anyway, so yeah, so it is, the camera does have to be sort of, you know, quite far back. You couldn't just do this with your Gorilla tripod and just go around, you know, vlogging with it, I don't think. Again, I think it's a good lens to have if you're behind the camera, taking photos and taking videos, and that's about it. Drop a like, drop a comment, and do consider subscribing to support my channel. There will be more videos soon of music, tech, and anything sort of life related. So, who was that? Anyway, see you in the next video.